Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second match of the Ori All Skills Tournament. This time we're going to be taking a look at Hydra against Grimelios, which is going to be a pretty good matchup. And I'm Sigma. I was here last night. Joining me on commentary is the Ori god himself, Headfield.
Hello.
So, what can you tell me about these runners, Head? What's Hydra up to these days?
Hydra's up to, a lot of Glades resets, a lot of fast Frankie Walk resets.
Man, that sounds pretty good. That sounds about like my experience with the game too, and yours, and everybody's. So yeah, we got Hydra against Grim. Grim has ran this game for basically forever, although on and off. He does a whole bunch of different speed games. He picked up Ori, I think, a couple of weeks after release in Vanilla, but if you go down the list of other games he runs, Guacamelee, Salt and Sanctuary, which he both did at GDQs, Defunct, Kalimba, Super Mario Galaxy, he's all over the place, and he's basically come back to Ori and knocked the rust off for this tournament. Meanwhile, Hydra, the only other game he's really ran is Defunct, and really focuses just on Ori. He has a very good time. Like, he's the third seed in the tournament, and probably should be the second seed if I didn't get a lucky PB right before it started. But yeah, so if we take a look at these guys' goals for the tournament, like Grim, he said it when we asked him about it. He wants to have fun and hang out. He wants to win a race or two, kind of thing. But Hydra is going for the gold. He wants consistent 34s. He wants to go for the world record. So it's going to be a tough race for Grim, but we'll see if Hydra's speed gets him killed. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a tough call. Ori's a speed game where lots of really seemingly small mistakes can just cost you multiple minutes. It all depends on where your last save is. And in the late game, you're either one or two hits from dead, so the runners who go for the faster, more dangerous strats are Hydra definitely being one of them, are definitely going to have a more volatile time in their late game, especially.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think both of these guys are going to opt to go for health, just for safety. There's few people insane enough to go for 3 in races, but I am talking to one of them.
We'll see.
Alright, just getting this set up here. And we should be good to go pretty soon. Just waiting for people to grab the race channel, and we'll be able to get this one underway. So I think there's a whole bunch of races planned here tonight. After this one, I think we have 2 hours of Mega Man X2 races, which Het is familiar with as well, and then another Ori race.
Yeah, something interesting. This game has a lot of references to old games in it, Ori I'm talking about, and there actually is a pretty blatant MMX2 reference in it later on in the game, but sadly we won't be seeing that in this category.
All right, well, looks like we've got everybody in the race channel. Grim's readied up. Yeah, just, figuring out our technical difficulties. Something actually interesting about these runners is, since Grim's been running this game forever, he was actually the first Ori streamer I ever watched. And for Hydra as well, the reason that Hydra started running Ori was because he saw the All Cells race between Grim and Ank at AGDQ 2016, I think. Yeah, so he saw that, and that's why he got into it. So it's kind of neat seeing, him come head to head in a tournament after, Grim kind of brought them in a sense. Alright, we should be able to go pretty soon. Yeah, Grim's readied up. And I'm going to exit out of the race so that I won't be holding things up. But yeah, I'd say in terms of this race, Hydra definitely has the advantage. Like, his PB is considerably faster than Grim's. He's been in a lot of practice, but we'll see how things goes for him. He's gonna go for fast Stompless later, and he's been completely cursed with it. I watched his stream just before this, and he missed it like 10 times in a row. And I couldn't figure out why he was missing it. He couldn't figure out why he's missing it. So I think he's just doomed,
Yeah, that's a really finicky trick. You gotta shoot the angle the bash perfectly. I'm working on it. Alright, yeah, I got it now.
Oh, nice. We can see the streams pretty much ready to go, I think. So we'll be getting this race underway shortly. Betting on a 3108. Man, I would love to see somebody get a 3108. That would be world record, by the way, in one of these tournament races, but I don't think it's going to happen. All right, we've got the countdown. 10 seconds to starting, so good luck to both of our runners, and we're going to get this underway shortly. So, yeah, the race is starting, so we'll see this on stream pretty soon, and then we'll get things synced up as we catch up through this delay. I think the race started. I hope the race started. Okay, there we go. I'm not like super far behind on this RTMP, am I? I'm at 8 seconds. All right. Yeah, okay, we're good. So there we go. So we're off to the races now. So we didn't do a full category definition or explanation before this. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about what they're going to do in this race at?
Yeah, so basically, like most Metroidvania games, this game is sequence broken to all hell. So any percent is now like an 11-minute category. So the reason why we came up with the all skills, no out of bounds, no teleport anywhere category is pretty much just to make it a a decent category substitute to any percent. So the point of this category, you got to get all the cells, and you'll see those like little circles below their timers. That's what the skill menu looks like when they open up the menu in game. So you'll see there they just got signed. That's the first skill, and then they got to get all the other skills in the game without going out of bounds and without using teleport anywhere.
Yeah. So the movement of abilities of Ori will increase greatly over the course of the run, but right now we're very limited in what we can do. Sign just lets us shoot things, which is, it's alright, but it doesn't let us move any different, so that's too bad. But you'll see these guys jumping a lot. Ori accelerates a bit faster on the ground than in the air, so there's kind of a mix of running to get yourself up to max speed, and then jumping, because jumping over slopes is faster than running down slopes. So we're just progressing along to wall jump here. What these guys are going to do is a few manipulations here. One is that they're damage boosting a fair bit. Set up a trick called Ghost Door here. You're going to see hide. Oh shoot, Grim died. So that's the danger of damage boosting. What they wanted to do is get to low health so that they could put keys into the keystone door and then save and die. And that opens the door immediately rather than waiting for a 5-second delay. But Grim got sniped by the slime as he was trying to get to the last key, so that's a big time loss right off the bat for him. But Hydra cruising along, and Grim now having to redo his way to the door. But things can go pretty topsy-turvy in an Ori race, as we saw from our run last night, where Terra was ahead for 80% of the race, and then Trojan pounced on a mistake right at the end. So that mistake definitely is rough. For actually dying again is really rough for Grim. So maybe some tournament jitters getting to him a little bit, I would think.
Yeah, it'll catch right back up when Hydra fails fast Frankie walk.
Yeah. But yeah, that's rough. So I think this time we'll see Grim get through here. I don't think, dying once is a fluke. Dying twice is like a lightning strike. And I think he'll take care not to die this time. Hydra's managed to make his way to wall jump, and he's going to go grab an energy cell. Energy in this game, at this point, all you can use it for is saving, but later on, we'll get a skill called Charge Dash, which enables you to go incredibly fast. Grim getting through the Ghost Door now, working his way towards wall jump as well, so now he has a save, and he's going to get a 4th health cell, so things are a little bit safer here. But yeah, energy, we need to collect it for later so that we can use as many Charge Dashes as we need, basically, because they're incredibly fast, and there's some bugs you do with saving that you need energy for and stuff like that, but for now that energy just kind of sits there until we have more uses for it.
So right now, Hydra is going to the new area of the game, new with the Definitive Edition release, called Blackroot Burrows. The Definitive Edition released 2 new areas, Blackroot Burrows and Lost Grove, and 2 new skills, one in each of those areas. So in Blackroot, he's going to get the dash ability, which completely overhauled the way movement in this game works. It's a lot more active now in the Definitive Edition. There's like a much higher density of minor movement nuances that you can do to save small amounts of time. So movement is going to change dramatically and get a lot more interesting after picking up the dash ability. But the area of Blackroot Burrows itself, at least this first part before the dash tree, is pretty much just an auto scroller. There's a couple different sets of platforms, and depending on when you spawn them, how you line up the cycles is pretty much the only thing that you can do to change the timing of how fast you can go through the area.
Yeah, like you saw just there, Hydra spent his time killing that slime at the start of the lantern part, but it's not going to, like, it looks slow perhaps, but it doesn't affect the platform cycle. He's still going to get the exact same platform cycle here that he would if he had gone quickly, so, you know, there's just not much you can do to speed up the black route for the most part, other than, you know, making sure you get the right platforms. There is one little trick there, when he waited on the edge of that platform. That's a cycle manipulation. The next room doesn't load until you walk to the right. So he delayed the platforms in the next room. And what you're going to see as a result of that is that he's going to be able to run into this room, and he's going to catch this platform just as it's going up. If you don't do that and you just proceed normally, then the platform leaves as you get into the room and you can't jump to it in time. And you have to wait 8 seconds for it to come back down. Grim now getting into black route. This is a cutscene glitch that he's doing there, by doing a trick called Save Anywhere, where he allows himself to play the game with the ability tree up. That just skips a 20-second cutscene to get himself into black route a little bit quicker. Now Hydra is going to sit through some unskippable cutscenes, and then soon we'll get to see Dash, which will really let him take off. Ketfield was talking about how movement's a lot more active in the definitive edition because of Dash. You'll see it shortly. Like, you're constantly dashing everywhere, and Dash lets you move about 3 times faster than regular running. Alright, Hydra's going to take a detour down into this little pit and taste the spikes down there. They don't taste very good, so he heads back up, shakes his mouse around a little bit, and grabs Dash. Nice. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, like, this movement here and what Hydra's up to here now, Ed?
Yeah, so you'll see this type of jump that he's doing called dash gliding. Basically, if you hold forward at the beginning of a dash, let go of it at some point during the dash, and then jump after, you will like fly through the air at roughly, it's like 120% or 130% of your normal movement speed. It's not as fast as dashing, but it's like you can jump with it, so it's pretty useful in a lot of places. He also used that to just jump over a cutscene slow zone that he left behind from doing the Save Anywhere glitch to get into black route. Here he's doing the Frankie walk. Basically, he only has 2 max energy, but this door requires 4 energy to open, so he puts his 2 energy in the door, kills the Frankie, and then levels up from the experience to refill his energy, and then puts the remaining 2 energy in the door to open that. And this is a huge sequence break. Normally you gotta go all the way around, come in Moon Grotto from the other way. This saves something like, I don't really know how much time it saves, but it's somewhere in the vicinity of like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's so much time that you don't time it exactly because it's just completely huge. Now Hydra's going to try here a trick called Early Grotto Cycle, and he just barely missed there. He's trying to set up some dashes to let himself ramp into these crushers 1 cycle faster, and he got close. Unfortunately didn't get crushed, because when you get close and barely miss, you can die, which is terrible, but no such bad luck for Hydra there. And again, he's damage boosting himself down to 1 health, like they were doing at the start of the game. Anytime you open a keystone door, you want to save and die afterwards, and he pulls that off. Grim's has picked up Dash now, and he's going to be following Hydra's footsteps here pretty quickly, so he's dash gliding across these areas as well, and he's now going to be doing a Frankie walk of his own. And as he does that, Hydra manages to grab double jump. He's done a cutscene glitch here, which allows him to move off the screen blindly while we're looking at the double jump tree, and some nice movement actually. I think those are throwing a few ninja jumps in there, going up these walls, so really pushing the envelope on his movement. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, there's a normally when you're doing wall jumping, it's faster to put double jumps in between your wall jumps, but there is a 15 frame restriction between when you input a wall jump to when you're allowed to do a double jump. And if you input the double jump in that 15 frame window, nothing goes off and you just look like an idiot falling down the wall. But if you do, that only applies if you're holding the directional input towards the wall, which intuitively you always would do that while you're climbing a wall. But if you let go of it and do a neutral wall jump, you actually eliminate that 15 frame window restriction. So we call them ninja jumping because it changes Ori's wall jump animation. And it actually depends on RNG what animation he gets, so he just starts flipping up the wall. And it's a little bit faster to climb that way, depending on how optimally you do it.
Not easy to do, but Hydra's clearly been practicing a fair bit. Cause
I didn't know that he did it at all.
I think he's the only person other than you, and Hobbs does some of them, but I haven't seen anybody other than you and Hydra just now in this race doing them, this persistently and on this many walls with this many ninja jumps. So it's pretty cool. Oh, Grim eating some spikes on the way down to double jump. That's okay though, because he just goes to it, so the save is not far away. Hydra just picked up a level up there. We did mention how these guys manipulated a level during the Frankie walk to give themselves energy refills. The experience route isn't done with just that. They're going to be setting up 2 more level ups in particular places later in the run, which are not as critical, I guess, as that big sequence break at the start, but Hydra just got some bad times with those spinning spike arm things, and has to redo a little bit, but it's not too bad, and he has a pretty big lead, so it's not going to hurt too much. But yeah, so they're setting up some level ups to skip some stuff later, but it's not as big of a deal if they miss them as that first big sequence break. But of course, because things give more experience later in the game, the windows to get these level ups are also a lot bigger. And there I am slacking on the skill tree. Grim has double jump. I just have to click the button. There we go. That was only a minute late. Good job, me. So they're in different parts of the game. They're both doing a whole bunch of cutscene glitches here. So to explain a little bit about why they keep reloading files, most cutscenes in this game set whatever flag they set when they finish at the start of the cutscene. But normally you can't do anything during a cutscene. So what people will do in many cases is set a save somehow that they can access during a cutscene, and then save the game after the cutscene begins and reload the file. And that saved file will have the knowledge that the cutscene has already played, and they'll just be able to proceed through. Hydra finding the wrong side of a slime at the top of the gun circle here, getting back up again quickly. Oh, and he's gonna telehop too. This is kind of neat. You can see him just bouncing back and forth across the sides of the room. That's when you go through those teleporters, your double jump comes back, so you can just spam double jump back and forth between them. That's a pretty easy trick to drop and just fall back to the bottom, so getting it nice and cleanly on the first try there is pretty cool.
Yeah, you need to have a really good rhythm. Not only a good rhythm of when you press the inputs, but when you release the inputs to pull that off. It's a really easy trick to just get on the too far away from the teleporter and not get through it and not get your double jump refunded the way you expect it to be.
Yeah, most people won't go for that because it only saves about a second, and if you drop it using maybe 5 or 6 seconds kind of thing. But you can kind of see how Hydra plays. Is he goes for all these little time saves. He goes for ninja jumps. He goes for telehops and stuff like that. So that's how he's managed to push his time down. It's just persistently finding the small things he can do and making splits just a little bit better with each of them. Now Grim's getting it again. So after that rough start, Grim's kept this run pretty well together. Like, aside from those 2 deaths on the way to wall jump, which were admittedly pretty catastrophic, the rest of this has been... Hydra's keeping his lead pretty steady, but, there's places later in the run where Hydra could take a big death. Depending on what he decides to do for safety energy, there can be intervals of, a minute and a half where he won't be able to save. So Grim's not out of this race. It's very possible for him to just keep the distance, and then a mistake from Hydra could allow him to close it all in one go. Now Hydra has grabbed Bash, so he's going to be flying all over the place. So maybe you can explain a bit about what the heck Bash is and why it's so great.
So Bash has its, in vanilla especially, is one of the most integral parts of the movement mechanics in this game. Basically, it allows Ori to grab an enemy or other things in the game, like lanterns and such, and he throws them in one direction and he flies in the opposite direction. So, if you're playing on keyboard and mouse, which Hydra is, you aim the Bash with your mouse cursor. If you're playing on controller, then you aim it with your analog. And it makes you fly a lot faster than normal movement speed, but not as fast as Dash. But it does have the advantage of being able to be used in the air.
Yeah, there's some fun interactions between Bash and Dash we'll get to see later on. We need to get some Dash upgrades first, and we can't get those just yet. So now Hydra's coming up on a trick called the core skip. I mentioned earlier about how they needed to plan some level ups later in the game. This is one of the planned level ups. Normally what you have to do here is go to each side and break the corruption at the top. You know, go to the other side, break the corruption at the top. But if you level up in the top, which you can do on the left side, which is convenient because the left side is faster to do than the right side. As you can see there, you level up and the level up explosion breaks both sides for you, so you skip having to do right side run, which is 30 seconds of watching a very slow traveling projectile to break the door. So that's pretty good. So he gets that, and now he's starting the Ginso escape. This is a really difficult part casually. In the speedrun, it's not so bad. Really just looking to optimize things like getting that shot following through the portal there so he can bash off really quickly. And he's also looking to pick up 300 experience to set up his final level of the run, which is going to come much later, but the experience is very quick to grab in Ginso escape, so he'll just be picking it up here. I am talking and getting behind on the skill tree thing again. Grim does have Bash. Good job. So, we missed it, or missed explaining it while Hydra was doing it, but right here, Grim is doing a trick called the key dupe, and we're going to see, interestingly, this is kind of a nice parallel, we're going to see what the key dupe allows you to do on Hydra's screen while Grim is doing the key dupe on his screen. So, Grim dies putting those 3 keys in the door, and then respawns at a save in a particular position, and those keys stay in his inventory, and then he's able to collect them again to get 7 keys of Ginso. And Hydra, as a result of that, has those 2 keys, and he can just go immediately to the right and swamp and put them into the door without having to do this long swimming part to go collect the keys as you would normally be intended to do in swamp. So now he's going to go up and grab Stone, which is a very good combat ability, but we don't do much combat in Ori, and it also has the useful property of increasing your terminal velocity because physics are just a suggestion. So when you're stomping, you go about 20-25% faster than normal falling. So you'll see lots of stomping. Even for short distances, it's worth it to wind up a stomp and let yourself pound down quickly.
Yeah, once you have dash and stomp, those 2 forms of movement pretty much dominate how you do optimized movement. You always want to be either dashing or stomping rather than moving diagonally at a slower speed for the most part, just as a general rule of thumb.
Yeah, it's actually kind of surprising. Like, you would think that taking a direct line somewhere is the fastest way to go. Dash and stomp are just so much quicker than kind of drifting through the air that you're more often moving at right angles when you're doing this game. Now, coming up for Hydra is a skip, a fairly precise cutscene skip here called Curve Cutscene Skip. And what he needs to do is bash a shot from this frog, spitter dude, while standing in the correct spot at a good angle, and he got it there. So that just, it looks like nothing when you get it, but it flies through a 17-second long cutscene, so it's a nice time save to get. And now, here Hydra's going to be picking up an extra energy cell. We didn't see this from any of the racers earlier, but or the racers yesterday, I should say. But this cell just allows you a couple safety saves later on. It's the fastest way to get some safety saves. So Hydra's opted to take it because it's a pretty quick cell to just grab, and then you get some really nice saves later. So looking like Hydra wants to hold on to his lead, so he's saying, well, I'll throw away these 6 seconds now grabbing the cell, but then I'm way less likely to lose a minute later because I have the freedom to make some extra saves. So that's pretty good decision, I think, from him.
Yeah, just recently we've pretty much finalized the energy charge dash route for the late game in this category. I can't really see anything that would be able to change it. And it involves no safety saves. And we pick up the fastest, we only pick up we only go out of our way to pick up 1 energy crystal, I think. And it's pretty set in stone what the route is. So, and that's with 4 energy cells. So getting this 5th one allows you to do, I think, 3 safety saves that you wouldn't get normally.
Yeah, there's several places where you get full energy refills, so you can make a safety save before it, and then get your energy refilled, and then in the next segment you have an extra safety save because you have 5 energy. So that cell is a pretty good safety cell, but of course, picking it up can be scary. So, but yeah, Hydra practiced it, so he's good on that count.
Yeah, those spikes in that area are insta-kill regardless of your hit point. And that was a kind of weird recovery there.
You could see him waving that bash around. He grabbed that bird in a different position. He's like, what do I do? Okay, so here, Hydra's going to try this. We'll see if his practice, his fast stompless curse has proceeded. So he redirected a spider shot up at some rocks he's supposed to stomp, and he got it there. So practice has paid off. So it's a neat trick. You're supposed to go up and stomp the rocks that fall on his head there, and instead you shoot a shot from long range, unload a wall in front of them by running away, and then go grab a cell while you're at it, because you need cells to go get the ability that he's about to get now after he picks up the feather. This is Charge Dash. Charge Dash is a little insane, so we can look forward to this. We're immediately going to see a bug with Charge Dash called Rocket Dashing, Rocket Jumping, which is you interrupt the charge dash with a jump, and the game forgets to decelerate you, so you can just go that high. And now we're going to see the largest sequence break of the game right afterwards. This is Suro Bash. So what are we skipping with this one, Adam?
2 full areas. Misty Woods, which has the key to the second dungeon in the game, and Forlorn Ruins, which is the second dungeon in the game. All this wind that you're seeing in this area, you're supposed to go through that spiky area with wind that appears there after you finish the Forlorn Ruins. But using some bash techniques that you just saw Hydra do, you're able to get inside this area and skip those other 2 entirely. And Hydra having some trouble with the getting the frog in position for this frog juggle, so he ended up having to stomp down and use the bottom one. And he's doing an old archaic strat called long juggle, which is interesting to see it be used as a backup strat using the bottom frog.
Yeah, getting that frog up there with repeated double bashes was the old way of doing it before we had tricks like dashing through a laser and stuff like that, but because he messed up the other frog's health, he couldn't get him up there, so he's like, alright, long juggle, let's go. And he nails it, so, Hydra has not forgotten his long juggle. So there, once again, since cutscenes set their triggers start, Hydra is going to save through the stun cutscene, and now, I guess I can talk a little bit about Charge Dash. So, in addition to being able to let you jump ridiculously high, Charge Dash, its downside is supposed to be that it uses energy, but there's many ways in which you can make it not use energy, such as stomping, which we saw a whole bunch of stomp cancels from Hydra in succession, by bashing an enemy. So you get to really, stretch the use of your energy by making the game take your energy and then you refund it because you did something, like a bash or a stomp or a variety of other things to get it back. So you see like that charge dash out, and then stomping down. Looks like he's actually down to 4 energy, so I guess he missed a stomp cancel, but he checked his UI, so he knows that he missed it, so that's good.
Grim going for a fast stompless now. He missed it the first time. It's a good thing that he missed it too, because he kind of flubbed the movement afterwards. The way that works is that if you get the proper angle on your bash for it to hit the rocks, the spider shot, and mess up the movement and don't get the cell, well, the cutscene still happens anyway, and then you have to go all the way around to pick up that cell that you missed, so you can finish learning charge dash.
Hydra just encountered Misty Spikes in the worst way possible, so now he's back up at charge jump, and that closes the gap a bit between them, but Grim's still got a lot of ground to make up, so you know, if Hydra takes a couple more deaths like that, Grim can bring this race back, but I think maybe Hydra will opt to slow down and take a safety save this next. But then again, knowing Hydra, he might not.
Might as well put that 5th energy cell to use.
I know. Well, he missed the stomp cancel though, so he's like, well, I might as well not say it, I guess. And that's what it gets you. But I guess that was, yeah, his save was at charge jump, so he's back at 4.5. So let's see if he's gonna put us. Oh my gosh! All right, he didn't die. That was close. That was close. So I mentioned stomp cancels. It sounds simple. You charge dash and then you stomp, but you have to jump out of your stomps, otherwise you're locked into them for a bit, and you need your double jump to be able to do it. So what we saw when Hydra nearly managed to face plant into spikes again was he didn't have his jump. Like, he messed up the inputs somehow, and fortunately managed to feather in time to save himself. So now we see Grim. Grim's taking a safety save in Sorrow here, and wisely so, because he immediately found a laser. So that is getting some good value out of that safety save. Well placed, I would have to say.
That's a really good value safety save to have there. There's a lot of ways to kill yourself or kill this frog in this part.
Yeah, it's important that Grim has this frog alive. He's going to be doing... the trick Hydra missed is just this normal frog juggle. Hydra had to go get another frog. Grim's now doing the way you're supposed to in the route, where you just take this guy up to the top and get him to break the roof for you without, you know, wandering down for a backup frog. And throwing in a double bash just to extend the life of the frog a little. And he gets it, and taking another safety save. That's also wise, because you know, lasers are everywhere. Meanwhile, Hydra's just blasting through Misty here.
Yeah, Misty is really where you get to see all the movement come together, all the different kinds of energy refunds, how you use like charge jumping, bashing, dashing, everything in conjunction with each other. This is really one of the best areas in the game to showcase the versatility of late game movement.
Yeah, I have to say the layout of Misty probably has a lot to do with, you know, the popularity of this category with seemingly arbitrary bans, because if you allow people to go out of bounds, then you don't get to see this second half of Misty, which is like this nice kind of flowing part of the game. And you just, you know, trick your way out of a wall instead and fall out and leave. You know, no cool spike glides or anything.
Yeah, because that was one of the areas that we skipped with the Sorrow Bash. You actually don't have to do Misty at all, but since this is an all skills category, you are required to go back into Misty to get the climb skill, which is completely useless in this run, but it's part of the category definition. Same thing with the skill that Hydra is getting now, the Light Grenade or Light Burst. And he's actually doing a pretty new optimization here, carrying the save anywhere all the way from the lever. He put that save there so he could do a glitch where he opens a door that he's not supposed to be able to open that quickly, and that is going to save him About 6 or 7 seconds if you include the fact that it allowed him to skip a save in the save well, and he should be able to make a faster laser cycle now. What you saw him do just there, he did a charge jump up against the wall. Your movement actually decays less rapidly when you're up against a wall, so he was able to make a jump there that you're not supposed to make with just a normal charge jump, since he was riding the wall with it.
Yeah. He actually messed up that save, I guess. That's interesting.
That's a real like cluster of inputs there to not only do the lever glitch, but the save anywhere all at the same time there.
Yeah, so he goes back up, opens the door again, so that's what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to slowly be opening. And then he's going to do a little bit of this boulder escape. Because he has charge jump and charge dash, he doesn't have to actually run all the way away from the boulder, he can just escape with the roof into this teleporter. So now, he's just going to head back to the teleporter he activated before he went into the first dungeon. And this is just the closest place to the last. Since he has all the skills, he's now just looking to finish out the game. Once he dashes in the right direction, nice. The reason he dashed in the wrong direction though is there's a trick called backflip glides, which you air dash while Ori is doing a backflip, and it takes you in the opposite way. So if you don't turn around, air dash the wrong way, and it's fast, like really fast way to move across certain areas. That one is one of them. But you know, if you rush the inputs into the turn, then you find yourself wandering off. And now Hydra's gonna try door warp. So what the heck's door warp?
The worst trick in the game. You reload, you get an autosave there, you reload the file, and then you have to press up on the very first frame that you enter the game. Hydra got it first try, but that first frame does not come at a consistent time. That is by no means a consistent load time. So the way we do it is we just bind up the scroll wheel. I think pretty much everyone does it that way.
There's a few people who try to time it, but I'm actually not sure which method Hydra uses. I'll have to ask him about that one later. Yeah, now since he used door warp, he skipped the entire last dungeon and was just in the final escape. So Hydra is very close to the end. There's one thing to look forward to. Ooh, okay. Well, I think it's actually fortunate that he killed himself there. There's a good reason for that.
That was
really cool strat at the end of the run called fish strats, but I think he was out of energy, so taking one for the team to show us fish strats because you need energy for it.
Since he was holding a climb there, when you jump, since climb and feather have the same input, if you jump off a wall holding the climb expecting the feather because you're holding the feather button, the feather actually doesn't work until you let go of it and repress it. So that's something that, like, I forget all the time, everybody forgets all the time. It's a pretty annoying mechanic, honestly. And I'm pretty sure that's what killed Hydra the first time there.
Yeah, I think the same thing might have got it again, so this time he's going to use listen. So yeah, we're going for fish strats. So he's going to do a rocket jump off this fish. He's going to bash it out in front of him so he can dash up to the sky, and he gets it, so there you go. It's a great strat. It saves 2 seconds. It risks you dashing in the fire and dying, but Hydra got it, so that's good. Now all that's left for Hydra is to hold right for a little while, and he will then lose control of all the characters of the game, and time will be up for Hydra. So he's won this race. There's no inputs left for him to mess up, and Grim is, pretty close to the end as well. Like, Hydra was way ahead this race, but it's sort of to be expected based on Hydra's times and how much he's been grinding the game recently. Grim's still doing a good time. Like, I should have checked where I put Grim's PB in all of these tabs. How is his run doing relative to his PB? Because this could still be... Hang on. Let me try to find this. Yeah, Grim's PB is a 38-33, so I don't think this is PB pace, but it's going to be pretty close, I think. This is definitely going to be a sub 40, I would say, so within a minute of his PB, probably. So yeah, that's it for Hydra. Once he remembers to stop his timer. Come on, Hydra.
I think it was a 35-39.
Alright, I'll write that down. Thank you very much. And yeah, now Grim's picked up the last skill, Light Burst, so he's just gonna have to head to Horu, teleport in, do Door Warp, and then do the escape. So we'll get to see Grim finish out this game in short order while we watch Hydra, enjoy the credit scenes. No spoilers here. Nobody knows who this bird is. Don't worry about it. Dude, I don't know what happened to my timer, says Hydra. Well, good job. Blame Hobbs for the layout, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I even split at wall jump. It was red the entire run after that.
Nice. Alright. Grim surviving the boulder escape there. The charge jump is actually kind of spooky. But he recognized quickly that he wasn't making managed to do the backup charge jump before he rushed, so good job. Now just teleporting, same place Hydra teleported to, it's the fastest, so obviously everybody's gonna do it. And now we're just doing a couple more rocket jumps and such off to Horde. There's the backflip glide from Grim, just doing that flip there. Flying through at a cool angle there, and just powering on through to the last dungeon.
Well, that kill on that turret there is seemingly becoming increasingly popular. People really don't like that turret.
I think everybody's died to that turret at least once or twice, and they're just taking out their, their frustrations on it. I kind of coexist with that turret. It lasers me every now and then. It's my friend. I don't know how to kill that guy.
Is that one of those turrets that can just shoot in the wrong direction and just
it can.
you?
It can. Yeah. All right. So let's see how Grim does on Door Warp. He's trying to enter or exit as you, if you prefer, on the first frame. Misses it first try, but Door Warp still saves time over any alternative strat as long as you get it in the first 5 tries. And once you start attempting Door Warp, you're actually kind of committed to it because the alternative strategy for skipping all of not having to do 13-minute long traversal through all of the side rooms requires another ability point to drop yourself under the lava with a save and reload. And they don't have that, so we got a Door Warp. And you can now see why this trick is, hated by a lot of runners, because you get to the end of your to pull off this 1-frame trick and you can just lose, here like 30 seconds to it like this. You just don't get the frame, and there we go. Grim makes it in with, I don't know how many tries that was like 7, but that's Door Warp for you. Gosh darn Door Warp. As Reese points out, that's still not the worst Door Warp ever, because he didn't manage to exit the file before saving and pull it back to Light Grenade, so...
I didn't even realize that's how far back you would go. I don't think I've ever even cut that close enough for that to be a possibility.
It's a very entertaining clip of the only person to have ever done it, and with the warning to us all, Roos. So 3 cheers for him. So now Grim's just moving through the escape. He checked. I hope he's gonna do fish strats. He checked his energy, so I think he was like thinking, okay, do I have energy for it? He had 1 energy, so here we go. Oh, we're taking the fish. We got the double bash. This is 100% worth it for these 2 seconds. It's absolutely worth the risk of dying there. Everybody clap for Grim, because,
Please clap.
Yes, please clap, because he's taken the risk for that 2-second save at the end that risks a minute and is pretty tough to pull off properly. But you gotta go for it. It's just such a good strategy.
I mean, nobody's ever lost any runs to fish strats before.
And no one at all. Not everybody. No one. I hope he goes for it again. We'll see. I mean, I wouldn't fault him for just going up normally. I'm actually not sure how much energy he had at the time, but I think okay, yeah, he's just gonna go up normally. He's one fish strat attempt per run is hitting the quota at least, so I can respect that. So that's gonna do it for Grim. He just has to sit through the ending sort of cutscene place where all you do is hold right, watch your characters walk over and get beat up by a bird.
I wouldn't underestimate the Naru section in this run. There have been world records lost to the Naru segment.
That is true, actually. Believe it or not. You just have to find it within yourself to resist the urge to jump, because it jumps way slower than running, unlike Ori. Find it within yourself to resist the urge to turn around, do a little Naru dance party at the end of the run.
It's pretty fun.
It is. It's a good time. I recommend it. So yeah, GG to both the runners. Rough start from Grim, but he pulled it back together for that run, so ended up being pretty good. Hydra putting in a good time. He had some struggles in the late game. I think he said in his interview that he wanted to get consistent 34s. This is a 35. I mean, it's close. That's a very good race time. That's for sure. But yeah, good run from both these guys. Grim finishing up there with a 42-11, and I think that'll do it for us. So there's a lot more races on tonight. We're coming up to 2 Mega Man X2 races and then another Ori one. I think you're doing the Ori race later tonight, right, Het?
Yeah, me versus Odeon.
Nice. So yeah, be sure to stick around for that, because that will be a treat to watch.